And whenever I go to the school, it never fails, someone asks me for my autograph. And once I do that one autograph, then the entire class or the auditorium or whatever lines up for autographs. So, and believe it or not, that doesn't necessarily do anything for my ego personally, although it's a good feeling. But I feel more like I'm sharing myself with them, because if I'm writing my name and I'm putting a date on it, you know, maybe 10 years down the line, that same young man, young woman will have a corner office somewhere, and they can say, I remember when I met you at such and such place, and we'll be able to shake hands, hopefully over a business deal.
Well, I'll tell you, we just talked with the director of the Boys Club, Lowe's Moore, and he talked about giving back. And that same thread is running through your veins, giving back. Those are the first two books. What's next as far as the author, Jerald Hoover, goes?
I have two more books coming, A Fallen Hero and Hoop Hero. And I mention the word hero in each book because it's called the Hero series of books. And the reason why you may say, why are you using that title? Because the title means something. You know, when a child's looking at the book or what have you, they'll say, what book are you reading? My friend, my hero. He's my hero too. And they can readily identify with these characters. They'll realize that, wait a minute, you're the hero, but you made mistakes before, but you redeemed yourself. Or you came from this situation and you're still a hero. I could be a hero also. And if we get young men and young women to think of themselves as heroes as opposed to zeros, then I can almost guarantee you that within a short time, you will have a positive revolution of young people trying to make a difference in this world that we live in.
Let's pull the cover off of Jerald Hoover. It sounds like you've done a lot of good things, a lot of things right. Let one of those young people that are watching this segment know, I didn't do it all right. Tell them something that you had struggled with that you were able to overcome. And then if you care to, share something that you may have struggled with that you didn't overcome.
I've been divorced before, so that's a failure to me. You know, to love someone and then to, for whatever reason, fall out of love, and to have a child in that situation. So that means I wasn't physically there for my son every day, but always there for him. You know, that's the one thing even more so than the books and the films and everything, was that the fact that although my marriage didn't work out, my fatherhood probably even increased, because I became more of a father, because the one thing I did not want to do was be an absentee father to my son. And he lives in another state and in another time zone. So that was very difficult for me. My son lives 1,500 miles away from me.
So you have to make a fiduciary choice each month, each week, to logistically have the funds to see him. Not only that, when you can't see him, you have to make a choice to be able to deal with that and still move on. What fuels you and inspires you under duress?
Prayer. Prayer and staying focused, and realizing that my son needs me, and realizing that he respects me and he looks up to me. And that being said, I know I didn't want to let him down. And I didn't want to let myself down. But those things sort of gave me, you know how a racehorse, they put certain things on, at their eyes, so blinders, so they could just stay focused. When it came out of him, I was focused. And through the grace of God, he just finished his freshman year in college with a track scholarship, and he was an A student going in. So, I don't pat myself on the back very, very often, but I gotta, know that I had my hand on him doing a lot of things.
Nothing wrong with poking your chest out for a job well done.
Oh, yes, sir.
But we want to get to the meat of Jerald L. Hoover and what's happening with you in 2010, and that's in your hand. Tell us a little bit about that DVD, that trailer. I know you're proud of it because I can see the tears welling up in your eyes already. They may not be running down your cheeks, but man, look at those teeth.
Oh yeah, I tell you, 4 square miles of glory, and this has been a 4-year process. And the documentary is going to be a 4-hour documentary, so you got 4s all the way around. I started this in 2006, and it's now 2010, and this has been something. I've been blessed to travel across the country on a thread budget. Notice I say shoestring budget. Shoestrings are normally thicker than thread. so I had a thread budget, and I had to be very, very smart with my cameraman, myself, my flights, his flights. I mean, it was a wonderful experience for me to have to do the things that I did do. Now, the beautiful thing is the fact that I'm a sports writer also. So I've been covering the Knicks and the NBA for now 12 seasons.
Wow.
So that kind of gave me an inside
inside track.
Track, if you would, track to certain players, certain general managers, certain people. Jerry West, Phil Jackson, Lenny Wilkins, Willis Reed, Walt Frazier, who I'm friends with. Thank God for that. So I've been blessed to do what I'm doing for a while. So I guess the credibility as a sports writer kind of gave me a little more cachet to where I can go into a locker room and speak to a media person and say, hey, I'm going to meet with so-and-so, so-and-so. Okay, write me a letter, and we'll get into that.
Let me stop you there, because earlier in the conversation, you didn't want to read any books. Now you're writing for the New York Knicks. You've already written 2 books. You're doing a documentary. You're reading everything you get your hands on at this point.
I am a reading addict. You know, if you look at my bookshelf case, and you'd be like, wow, I read all the time. And the good thing, I read, most of my reading is more uplifting, you know, whether it's religious reading or something of triumph or leadership, different things of that nature. I read those type of books because that helps me think in a certain way, so that when it comes out to my writing, even though my writing isn't in that same genre, it gives me motivation. It gives me like a certain power.
What I want to do is we're going to go into 4 Square Miles to Glory, and we're going to pull out a couple of characters. There's so many, I mean hundreds of folk, and it's a cast of who's who. So whoever's listening, we didn't choose the best, we didn't choose the most popular. I'm just going to ask him to pick 3 people. What I want you to do is not so much talk about the movie right now, but the characters in the movie. Talk about 3 people, just pick them off the top of your head, and let's try to find someone with a positive story, that everything went well for and they achieved everything they were looking for. Let's talk about a negative story, that they tried to make their way through basketball and wherever it was taking them, and they went nowhere because of the obstacles. And then let's talk about someone that had adversity, achieved a portion of success, and then adversity hit again and it didn't work. Is there anybody like that in your documentary?
Well, I'll go with the first one. Ben Gordon, who's playing currently in the NBA. He's playing currently in the NBA with the Detroit Pistons. He was drafted by the Chicago Bulls, and when I interviewed him, I realized that he was a special young man, but he was also very spiritual in nature. He grew up, you know, with his mom and his grandmom, and he was a focused young man, and you don't find too many people like him. He cocooned himself with the history of Mount Vernon basketball, learned a lot, spoke to Lowe's a lot, so he had a mentor, you know, right at the ready for him. And the one thing that I'm really proud about the Mount Vernon guys is that they seem to always look out for each other. You know, it wasn't a matter of, well, I'm gonna make it and I'm gonna be the big fish of Mount Vernon, and whoever's behind me, you know, they're on their own. It seems as if when one person crossed that finish line, they turn around and say, hey, run this way, do this, do that, do this, do that. And they help each other. And that right there is the most inspiring thing for me. But I looked at Ben's life, from what I know, as his basketball career, was that he's on the shoulders of these men that struggle, that had more adversity than he had to go through. So I believe he was able to look at a blueprint to see, okay, he did this, he did this, he did this, he did this. Now I'm going to do this. And I think he's blessed for that, and he's representing Mount Vernon in that way.
Are you saying to young people, if you were talking to them, seek out a mentor, use your resources, find a way to get what you're trying to achieve the right way, and if you just look around, even as close as the boys club in your community, you can probably find some of those mentors.
I'm gonna go so far to say, not only am I gonna agree with you, but I'm gonna say this because this is what I feel. I believe God wants you to do stuff like that, because this is why it says in the Bible, let your light so shine before men, so that you can be an example. And from a religious standpoint, but also from a social and economic standpoint, you're supposed to be a light so that people can emulate. You know, and of course, God will ultimately get the glory for that. So I believe God wants mentors around here to help young men and young women make better choices. So yes, without doubt, seek a mentor, because they're out there.